Hey everyone, Scottish WION 92 here, and welcome to WION Reviews. In this review, I'm going to be reviewing The Hunger Games. Whether or not is it worth it to go and see it in the pictures, is it worth it or not? So, first of all, let me give you my backstory with The Hunger Games. This is what I normally do when an adaptation movie comes out. If I can, I normally do a bit of research on the thing that's been adapted, i.e. look on the internet, read the stuff that is based on, like The Hunger Games, for example. I'll use that since I'm reviewing it. I was very interested in the trailer. I like the idea and the whole look of it. I really did like the look of it, but I was like, if I'm going to appreciate this film, I need to know the source material. So I did download the audiobook, and it was about an 11-hour long audiobook. I was able to breeze through it within a day and a half. None of it was very good, I'll say that right now. So I do know what is missing from the movie, and I want to judge it on the fact, is it a good adaptation or not. I'm going to do that bit at the end, but firstly I'm going to judge it as a movie. That's what I want to say. I'm going to judge it as a movie first, and then I'm going to tell you what I think of it as an adaptation. So let's get to this, let's get it started. So I'm going to talk about the good, and I'm going to talk about the bad, and then I'll tell you my overall summary, and then I'll tell the adaptation part. Firstly, I want to say the good. The good parts about this film is I'm a sucker for this type of setting. I'm always interested in movies that are based in what-if scenarios, or post-apocalyptic, or basically where where one class is suppressed and another one is not dominant. But let me just give a quick summary of the plot first, which I actually like the plot in the movie and the book, but I'll get to that later. The overall plot of the movie is that basically there's the rich people, the capital, which is the capital of this world, I think, if memory serves me, I could be wrong. And basically this is where the rich people live. This is the rich people, the people who basically control everything. And if you live in the capital, you're set for life. There's no if buts about it. You'll probably very rarely have to do hard labour. And outside of the capital, there are districts, which are basically the workforce. Let's just put it plainly in that. And in each district works on a different aspect, like agriculture, coal mining, herbs, different parts to make the capital function. But the districts are basically the workforce, in another term, the slave labour basically. And what happened in this world basically is that about 75 years before where the movie is currently set, is there was an uprising and the districts basically rebelled. There's no other way to put it, and they failed. The capital fucking crushed them. And as punishment for this, instead of like executing everyone basically, they basically said, you know what? Let's do something really sick and sadistic. Once a year, the tributes of one young man and one young woman will be selected to compete in a game to the death, known as The Hunger Games. And this is where the movie set at, basically the overall plot. That is it. Basically, The Hunger Games is basically teenagers fighting to the death. That's the whole premise of the film. Anyone say Battle Royale? I won't go there, so don't click the hate button yet. But I like the plot. It's quite an interesting one. I always like those kind of plots. Where basically is, I like movies that take risks, and this one does take risks. In the aspect of, in Western movies, you kind of don't see children dying that often. You do see in occasional films, but they're always either off-screen or very sweet and innocent. In this film, not so much. They are butchered basically. A good majority of them are hacked to death, which is very risky today in this kind of world that we are in at the moment. But I liked that. It was a movie that took risks. I will say one thing about the capital: they are fucking ugly. They're sort of like the glamorous who went too far on the glam. They think they're beautiful, but they are fucking hideous. I mean, like, they've got pale people dye their skin it's kind of creepy beyond belief. There's purple wigs, orange hair, fucking. I could have sworn I saw someone with cat whiskers, eye pigmentations, minor alterations with piercings and all that. It's creepy and it's ugly. The districts are normal. The capital is freaky, but to them that's normal, and I like that. It's kind of it has been done before, but they modernized it. I do like that fact. I can't think of the name of it, but they have modernized a certain theme that has been in movies for a while now. Let's get to the more stuff. I liked the I like the cast choice. A lot of the cast were pretty damn awesome. I honestly can't remember their names because I'm horrible with names. I can't help it. But it was really enjoyable. A lot of the cast members pulled off excellent jobs, and their acting is spot on in this film. I did enjoy it. I like the setting. The forest, the battle arena basically is a forest, and I like that setting. It's very beautiful but deadly at the same time, which I kind of like the idea of something so beautiful is also so deadly. It's very nice. What else did I like? I think that's about it that I liked about it. I did like the main character, Katniss. She was enjoyable. Peter was he was alright. There is no villain basically. It's just basically toss a couple of kids in, give them some weapons, and root for your winner basically. And of course, Katniss wins. Spoiler. But now I'm going to have to get to the bit where I'm going to have to tear this thing in the asshole and basically talk about the bad points. Oh wait, no. Before I get to the bad points, there's one thing I want to say about the good point. I love the fact that this satired the talent show, basically. I like the build up as well. This is what I'm going to talk about. The first hour and a half is the build up to the arena fight, and what I liked about it is it satires the whole X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, Pop Idol thing, where basically they're all glamorous at the start, and they're basically treated like celebrities, basically, like these underdogs or these new people, and these faces that you're basically like, oh, they look so pretty and gorgeous. They glam them up basically to make them look more appealing, and this is how this not only affects them and their appeal with the capital, but also how they will do in the games, because of the fact that sponsors are people who will supply them with stuff. I.e. essential water, matches, blankets, and stuff that basically you'd need to survive in a forest. And I like the fact that it satires it. It's basically if you took Pop Idol or America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent and took the auditions, and they're all the mid stage where they're all getting glammed up and all that, and then after that you throw them into a pit and says, "Fight to the death, bitches." And I like the fact that it's satire of that. It's very well done. I love that. But let's get to the bit you're probably going to enjoy, the bad parts. When it gets to the the action sequences, the final hour of the movie is shaky cam. And if you don't know what shaky cam is, I'll demonstrate. It's kind of like but not that bad. It's more like it shakes like that. It's kind of like, oh, look, very reality TV show. And it does get a bit annoying after a while. I'll say I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like the found footage genre of movies. But it's not as bad as that. They actually do have some still images. But it kind of treats it like a reality show. It makes it feel more real and authentic, but at the same time it does get real annoying. Especially at the goddamn action sequences. This, is meant to be an action film. That's the genre that it comes under. It's an action film, and you cannot make out the action sequences. They're all face. Face. It's very much like that. You don't know what you're seeing the majority of the time, and you have no idea who's winning until someone's dead, and it's very disorientating, and it's a big problem I had with the film. What else did I not like? I'm trying to think what else. There wasn't a lot I didn't like, but there was some bits. A couple of the way that some aspects of the film feel rushed in some way, shape or form. More so in the first hour of the film, some aspects seem rushed, but you can kind of forgive them because they're basically gone with the source material.